Welcome Twin Flames, welcome Star Seeds, welcome Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine energies, welcome Lightworkers, welcome however you identify. If you are on your Twin Flame Ascension journey or you would like to be, you feel like you're vibing, you're in the right place. I'm the Twin Flame Psychic, Alden, and welcome back or welcome for the first time. This is your Pisces season reading, and this is pick a color with Prismacolor pencils. So I'm really looking forward to what the cards reveal. I have not peeked. You can trust me on that one if you want to. It's the truth, I swear. And so I have cards today, and I'm trying to stay out of the shot. Like last time it was so funny because my reflection was, there it is, like I couldn't see it that much because that part of the camera is covered up for me. So it was pretty funny to play it back and see how like you could see my reflection. But that was in the last reading. If you haven't seen that yet, the Leo moon reading. So this is the Psychic Tarot for the Heart deck on top, and that's by John Holland. And then underneath is Crystal Angels deck, Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue, back when she was up to Oracle cards. And I am really looking forward to the Pisces season vibes, what's going on here with your particular choice. I went for something really creative. To me, Pisces season really speaks to that universal creativity where all the colors come together and make white light, or if you're talking about the colors in terms of actual pigment, they do the opposite. When you bring all the colors together, they make black. So I always think that's a really cool thing as well, that in the light spectrum, all of the light colors coming together make white, and then when you're talking about actual matter, it makes the color black. So with that, I'm just looking forward to pulling the first card, so let's do it. So yeah, this is Cerulean Blue here. Oh, whoops, can't see it. And I'm trying to make sure that this is focused. I'm noticing when it's up close that it gets a little bit fuzzy, so I'm working on getting my camera skills, all set here. So let's shoot for the best. So yeah, blue. So if your choice, your first or your second choice was this beautiful blue color, I mean, I don't want to stall, but actually, like, this is such a pretty color. Wow, I know this isn't an art channel, but I do some art on this channel because I do psychic art, twin flame art, and I've gotten some very nice feedback about people having very positive results with their twin flames from looking at the artwork. So let's see what is under card number 1. Ooh, share the love. Now I have to say, not all of these cards are like what you would call positive. So, and they're based loosely on the tarot. They're not all, it's not the same, but loosely. And so this is a very positive card. It's very much Pisces energy, really, too, about that universal connection, cracking your heart wide open, feeling into your emotions, sharing the love. And so if you have a question in your heart, how am I supposed to move forward on my twin flame journey? Or how am I supposed to, I was just like went and looked in the camera. I'm like, am I like in the reflection? It's so fun. I'm like making all these gestures as I'm talking. How am I supposed to move forward with receiving what I desire to receive? So it's really, the answer here is just share the love. And what does that mean to you? And it's number 3. This reminds me of the upcoming portal. Some are calling it the mega portal. Some are calling it Tuesday, as in TWO. That's probably my personal favorite. So this 222 goes to the number 3 in numerology. Like if you were born, or if you're having a baby and it's going to be born that day, then it would be a life path 3 number. And so there's again the sense of sharing that creative spirit from within, communicating in that way. And you can see how there's these silhouettes of, you're not sure if they're like adults, kids, teenagers exactly, but it's really like this innocent sharing of love. But there is something about it bringing you closer to your twin flame, even though this very well may have to do with sharing the love in terms of your life purpose. So what that means is that as you just do you, but not in a selfish way, in a way that feels good to you, you share, and you are aligning more deeply with your purpose. However you're doing that, through whatever you're already doing, and or if you are transitioning into what you feel is even more of your calling. As you do that, you're also magnetizing your twin flame. And look at these rays coming out of the heart. So it's really about that. It's about being magnetic, but not for the sake of receiving, for the sake of learning even more deeply what it is to share and feel that love that comes when you are sharing. It's a joy, it's pure, it's bliss, and there's something essential in that for you that you're going to find out as you go deeper here in this place, with how you can be received with more support for yourself, like how you can really reach who you are meant to reach in any little or big way, but just that there's more of a match in what you are desiring to share and what is being received. And as you learn that through serving and through your purpose, you're also learning that with your twin flame. So this can be in your union directly too, that you're sharing, you're learning to share love with your twin flame. So it's all one thing, and it's all going to the same place, to returning to you so that you can serve more. But you need to just tap into that unconditional love place to share from even more. And creativity is going to help. And I mean, this reading's all about creativity. Look at the colored pencils. Ooh, I was wondering if we'd get this card, and we did. So multifaceted is like the most, what's the word? Totally blanking, which makes sense for this card. It's kind of an ambiguous card. There's another word I'm looking for, but that's okay. But it's multifaceted. There are many layers and dimensions to the situation or person you're asking about. This is about you sharing your love, your gifts, your purpose, your love, if it applies to you with your twin flame in the outer world, but definitely in your heart either way, wherever you are on your twin flame journey, without understanding completely what you're going to receive from it. So you're working through a block that you could look at it as receiving or giving, but it doesn't matter. Whatever works for you, however is going to help you to work through it, you can look at it both ways. It's about just doing it from your heart and tapping into that desire to be with the divine even more than you already feel like you are. Of course, in truth, you're already one with the divine spirits. But as you've probably experienced in certain moments, it really feels, oh, that way, you feel like you're ascending, and in other moments, maybe you're not feeling as close. And those moments, of course, are teaching you how you can become closer and then come into a state where you always feel that closeness. So it's about purifying your heart through acts of love, of kindness, of service that feel good to you, that don't come from like a people-pleasing place. So also the flip side, be aware of that and root out any kinds of patterns related to doing something without actually loving yourself in the process, first and foremost. And you can usually tell fairly easily, because even if it doesn't at first, it will start to feel bad, or you'll realize you kind of betrayed yourself and said yes to something or what have you. And it's just safe to pay attention, even if you don't understand, like, well, it feels like it was the right thing to do. But if it actually doesn't feel like it was the right thing to do because it feels bad, then it's really important to feel through that process, and you can learn the ABCs of the mirror exercise, or if you already know it, it's of course always a reminder to just go to that place that seems fuzzy, unclear, multifaceted, beautiful, yet what is it? And love yourself in those places. And that's very Pisces as well, this dreamy Neptune quality. It can also lead to delusion if you don't clarify and purify it. And it doesn't need to. And it's okay at the same time if we've all probably experienced being delusional in one way or another. I know that's happened to me. And that's okay. That's how you probably learn, hopefully, to not do that and choose clarity. And you can also focus on a particular chakra that you're feeling blocked in and choose clarity in that particular place. Just sit with it, meditate. That can be helpful too. So we're going to move on to, and I'm going to timestamp these. We're going to move on to hot pink. I didn't know this was called hot pink, because to me it's not the hottest pink in this set that I have, which is how many? 150? It's a lot of Prismacolor pencils. I know this isn't a Prismacolor pencil advertisement, but I do like coloring. These are better than regular colored pencils, as you may know. The waxy kind of, what do you call that? Lead, I guess? It's a different kind of thing. And it's not just the brand that does it. I don't know if they were the original ones or what, but it's very nice if you want to draw, do something more with your hands. These are a good way to go. So hot pink. Okay. Base chakra. Ooh. Well, this is really about like manifesting, about grounding, about that red color. It's passion, but it's like, it's quiet passion. It's not like, it doesn't need to be explosive. It needs to be grounded, and it needs to be felt. It just needs to be felt. And as you feel it, and as you gain momentum there, oh, I didn't realize this light was like shining weird on, it's like the sun on the card. Well, there. So I don't want to move it right now because I think I'll move everything over. That's okay. I need to just let it go. So it's also number 1, and that is really about foundation. It's like, hey, it's the first thing right now. So yeah, it's just safe to focus on your baseline. and what would feel most comfortable to you and what doesn't. And sometimes we want to go look at the material things because, yeah, your root chakra is about manifesting and about the material world. And now I want to like break into Madonna song, but I won't do that. But yeah, like what's the precursor there? Why are you manifesting? What is it that you desire? Because if you start to manifest from a place of a lesser want, a lesser desire, that can lead to settling more easily or make it even more of a challenge for you in a way to break free from, you could call it like a karmic cycle, a pattern. So just pay extra attention. You know, what's the purpose of what you want, of your dreams, of what you desire? And saying what you desire or your dreams sometimes feels more high vibe than what you want. So you can also just pay attention to how you're expressing those kinds of desires and also needs. Well, how does the word need feel to you? Certain things you do seem to need, right? But then that can start to feel needy. So just pay attention to what words resonate for you. It doesn't need to be my set of words need to work for you. But really, yeah, whatever frequency you're working with is what you're cultivating more of. And at the same time, you need to go to those deep places, those rooted down places, and root out any fear. And so sometimes that can look like, oh, don't look like I'm doing so well right now, or I don't have anything to show for this. But you won't necessarily know until you get to the other side. And so if you feel called to continue and it feels good to do something and you can, then don't give up on yourself, but just make a way for you to do it that isn't setting yourself up for failure, or, you know, this is like, you don't want to self-sabotage yourself. And you'll always be given another chance if you're truly doing something from love at the core. At the same time, it's a lot to go through, and we all make mistakes. But use that mistake to help get in tune with your higher self. It's safe to give yourself pep talks if you're the kind of person who does talk to yourself, or and you're maybe just silently or whatever. I don't know. I only really talk to myself out loud sometimes, or if I'm really tired, I notice I'll start to do that a little bit, so it's kind of funny. So yeah, just like be your own teacher, but also choose to humble yourself. And then as you're a better teacher and a teacher to yourself, you can become a better student. And you can go deeper with your twin flame journey, because the more humble you are and the more of a learner you are, and the more you're willing to apply teachings of true love, the easier of a time you're going to have clearing those blocks on your journey, calling in the support you need because you're willing to invest in it, rather than saying, oh, I'm going to do it myself. That might sound good at first, and maybe you do need to do it yourself for a little while to see how that is for you. Ultimately, it's leading you to lack, because you're meant to be supported. You can be supported. And so if you choose to call that in even more than you are wherever you're at, and just choose to continue calling that in and see what areas of your life could you do that more. And again, maybe it's not materialistic so much, maybe just more time to be creative. Creativity is very helpful for baseline manifesting. And I mean, sacral chakra and your base chakra are right next to each other. So, oh, and look, it was hot pink and then we got to red. That's nice. I just noticed that. Maybe you already picked up on that. So the bottom line is put your roots in soil worth being in eternally. Don't spread your roots out into places where they don't belong, and it's okay if you make a mistake. Then you can recenter yourself and then grow out again. So it is, growing is a process, right? Next card for you, clear quartz. I love it. Let yourself feel all your emotions. Another very, very Pisces card. Even the colors too. Your entire rainbow spectrum of feelings is sending you important messages and guidance. This is also about treating this time as a collection of accounts of the last year, so you can move forward. Pisces season is the last season in the zodiac, so we have another new year coming up. There's a lot of different times and ways in how people celebrate the new year. This is one of them. So when Aries season starts, that's one way of looking at the new year. And so this is a really good time to emotionally feel through for you how you feel about how this last period of a year or so has gone, and not try to evaluate it right away, but really just feel through it so that you can heal through and feel good about moving into whatever you're moving into, especially now with all the planets direct. There's a lot more forward momentum for the collective. And so if you really gather and feel through without forcing it, or without like, I need to feel through things now and heal, I mean, that's like not necessarily very productive. It's really just a matter of not resisting that you're probably feeling emotional in some way, and feeling through whatever it is there, and not being afraid, even if it's like a pea in the pod kind of thing. And if sometimes I say that and people don't know the story, so I'll just say it real fast because maybe you do. But it's like if there's a mattress and there was a little pea under it that made just this little lump uncomfortable, it could really bother you, even though it's just this little thing. But once it's gone, it's like a whole new experience. So it's worth pursuing those places when they are bothering you. If they're not bothering you, well, maybe either you're kind of numbing out, maybe you're not to a refined state where that's worth paying attention to. Maybe it's just never going to bother you. So just move toward whatever it is that your emotions are pointing you toward, what is both maybe bothering you and also what feels really good, what has felt good, what's worked for you. And that's going to help you with this baseline too of manifesting, rooting down, gaining momentum in your life. Number one, foundation. Number one, what's most important? Your twin flame union, whatever else that means to you personally is just fine, and it's safe to be honest with where you're at with what feels most important to you. And that can change too. Sometimes we don't realize what's most important to us until we think something's the most important, and then realize actually, yeah, that's not quite it. So don't be afraid to just move through how you actually feel there, feeling your emotions clearly. Clear quartz is going to help you with that. And yeah, rainbow spectrum. Well, also we were talking about that earlier, how the rainbow spectrum makes that clearness, that light come alive. So yeah, this is your opportunity to find out in what way you're a light worker as well, and tap into your purpose in that way. Whoa, okay, time for time for number 3. Want some attention. It's like, please, come on. So, this is what, light aqua? Light aqua. I really like this color. I thought it was teal until I looked at what it was called, but I mean, aqua, teal are not that different. A side note, I think that this color goes really well with like copper and bronze colors. You can try it for yourself if you haven't before, see what you think. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. It's a nice combo. Your card, ooh, challenging times, and it's upside down. So yeah, we got a more challenging card. And this is number 5, so it's really about change, and are you open and willing to accepting change in your life? If you are, it's not going to be so challenging. There's an extra emphasis on it. It was doing a little somersault there, like, woo, I don't know if you noticed that when I flipped it over, but I believe it was upside down. And there's kind of a weird face. It's a challenge. Okay. Anyways, so, you know, this guy doesn't look happy, but he also just looks ready for it, and actually pretty, like, doesn't, I don't know, I would not mess with this guy, I gotta say. And this is teaching you how not to be messed with in a certain way. Doesn't mean it needs to be like some kind of a threat or towards you or whatever. It's just, it's not like, you know, attack isn't real. It's not about that. It's about rooting out fear from your life. And there's like a airplane overhead as I say that, so to me that's like an extra little highlight there, confirmation. And yeah, number 5 again is about change. There's a creative element to number 5 too, and so just giving yourself permission to be creative at this time, like to take some time for you right now, for self-care is what I'm getting. Could be really helpful for moving through this challenging time, because actually what it's going to do is give you even more energy to move through it. There might be some action involved, and it might be more of an emotional action too, because I mean there's just a lot of emotion right now with the planets, with Pisces season. I mean there's always a lot of emotion, okay, but there's extra emphasis with all the water elements, and so it could feel extra challenging in a way, like just this feeling more, going back to the before, the idea of being extra sensitive about something small. It can also be about that. It can be a challenging time, but whether it's something that's really a big deal or technically maybe shouldn't be a big deal but's really bothering you, in a way it doesn't matter. If it's a challenge to you and it's something that you need to move through that feels rough, feels kind of hard, or just feels bad or feels frustrating, it's okay to move through it and find a way. And sometimes if you feel like there's a challenge, it can also mean that you are knocking your head up against something a little bit, like there's some resistance there, or there's some way that you're doing something in a way that's not really in alignment with your true design. And that challenge though will come to help shape and refine you back into alignment. So don't be afraid to fully move through it, but you also don't need to choose challenges or struggle or anything. You can choose to feel good, and that's appropriate and safe to do. I know, for instance, in human design, what comes up for me is that my non-manifesting feeling, there's like another word for it, but it's close enough, is frustration. And so when I feel frustration, I know that I'm probably doing something that's just it's where I'm working against myself basically, and I'm not going with the flow. And so when we feel these feelings that they're really showing you something. They're really divine ways of showing you, hey, like, you don't need to feel this way. This doesn't feel good. When are you going to notice and be able to love yourself here? And as you do that, things will shift. And they might not shift exactly in the way you had planned. It can be something else that gives way, or you manifest something you needed, but in a different way than you would have thought possible. So being open is also important, and accepting right where you're at as being okay. It's all right just to be right where you're at and to love yourself, not try to wait to love yourself until you're doing better. Where you're at right now is perfectly good enough. And this is a very nice card to go along with this. I think it's kind of clearing the energy and showing you that your challenging times are not in any way bigger than you. And citrine is about the sacral chakra and solar plexus chakra, so it's about power. And it says, unnecessary worries, release the burden of worries by giving them to God for healing and solutions. So this is what you can do. So surrendering is really big here. Big surprise, right? And we have more rainbows. I don't know I guess like all of these cards are very rainbowy. I don't think the whole deck isn't like, I think these are some of the more rainbow looking cards, and I like that just to re-emphasize how Pisces it is and how much the colors might be mattering to you right now. I know I've been spending a lot more time with color, but again, a personal thing, I guess. My Mars is in Pisces and it's very near my midheaven, so when that's activated, then there's a lot of like creative action that goes on. And so it's always fun to notice if what's transiting your chart and how it's supposedly like supposed to play out, if it really does, because sometimes it does and sometimes there's other things involved and it's like, oh, no, I don't know, that doesn't resonate so much. But that really is something for me, and maybe that's something for you too, to pay attention to where Mars is in your chart and what it's up to right now, or pay attention to, if you want to, when it's going to be transiting something. It has a lot to do with action, passion, your purpose, attraction, more masculine energy, if you will, but it's like kind of active, because there's Mars and there's Venus, right? And so Venus would be the feminine. And actually the symbols for both of those planets are the same symbols as for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So yeah, unnecessary worry. There's a dove, a beautiful bird. And so yeah, it's just safe to let your worries fly away. I mean, it doesn't mean like be irresponsible, take care of like your finances and cleaning and loving yourself, doing your spiritual work, this and that. But worrying never helps anyone. And it's okay to have compassion for yourself when you can't not worry about something for a little while, if that ever happens. But yeah, it's not going to help. And so the sooner you realize that and are able to worry less, you're going to make so much more headway on your journey, because all of that energy is going to then be reallocated into just better things for you, better, like a higher vibe. It's just your ascension, because you're not in that negative vibe. Like worrying is a very, you could say, low vibe kind of feeling. And sometimes it's hard to get out of those low vibes, especially if they're around you. There's other people really like holding that down kind of thing around you, or at work, or you're working through something with your twin flame and you feel like they're doing it, they're the one, or whatever it might be, but just know that like you don't need to stay in a bad vibe. You can just choose to heal through it, to align yourself, and you really will. It's not a matter of divine timing. It's just a matter of moving through the process, and it's not about a timeline. You don't need to compare yourself to others. That's not very helpful, because your successes and your foundation look unique to you and your union, and the amount of expansiveness that's needed in this area and this and that. Yeah, it's not about necessarily the time. Of course, in a way, everything can happen in a holy instant. So you also don't want to block yourself from things happening now. So surrender is really key to allowing and to not feeling like you need something from the universe. And you'll strike that balance. You know, you'll find that balance, especially as you realize you don't need to have fear and worry in the place where perhaps it once was hiding out. And you're going to be able to strike that balance a lot more easily and call in more love and abundance. And that really goes for everyone. I think that ties up the whole reading nicely. And I did want to take a moment to color. Just let's look at the colors, because I haven't looked lately at just what color this is exactly on paper, and it's kind of nice. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty true to the color in the camera. So that's nice. We'll have a heart for number 1. This is how hot pink looks. Okay. We'll have a star for number 2. An A+. Well, everyone gets an A+, but we'll just do that for the star. That makes sense. There's my like teaching background, I guess. Okay. Oh, that's a nice color when it's layered right there. It's the light aqua for me. Okay, a symbol. Oh, I got it. It's a swirl. So those are your symbols, and yes, everyone gets an A+. So good job. You're doing great. All right, have a fabulous, happy Pisces season, everybody. Okay. A little fish. If you're still here, then that's really wonderful. Okay, a nice little fish, maybe some eyelashes, if it's a ladyfish. I think she needs some hot pink lipstick. Okay, the lipstick looks a little weird, but that's okay. I think she needs her twin flame, so we have to draw the twin flame fish now. Wow, he looks excited to see her. It's got a nice tail. All right, and it's kind of like, you know, angelfish, I guess. You can have a little, so that's supposed to be an eyebrow. That doesn't really work that well. That's okay. Let's give him some blue eyes. Look how excited he is. He's smiling. Oh, they're in love. See? Okay. All right. That's it. So yeah, if you want anything, there's links below and all of that, and hope you enjoyed the reading. Thanks so much for subscribing and liking the video, and I'll see you later. Love you. Bye.